Q Club Birmingham, make some noise.
My name is Jess Collins. I'm one of the curators of In the Queue with Matt Ford. We're at the Birmingham Museum and Art Gallery. So we're going to do a little video for those of you who couldn't make it down to Birmingham to see it in person, but you can hopefully get a little flavour of it online. In the Queue, if you don't know, is an exhibition about the Q Club in central Birmingham, held at the Methodist Central Hall, a beautiful building. But for a period of time from 1992 to its closure in 2017, it was a live music venue, perhaps best known as a rave and dance venue. A whole host of amazing nights, from Flashback, Ultimate Orange, Space Opera, Atomic Jam, House of God, the Bubble Club, Zuba Club, loads of great DJs, Carl Cox, Mistress Mo, David Holmes, Pete Tong, Judge Jules. But the materials that we've shown and the film that we've made have all been found from people who went to the club, who promoted the club, who worked at the club, who performed at the club, and they've kept their materials, whether it's ticket stubs, whether it's Mistress Mo's security jacket, whether it's a contract for Ronnie Size or photographs from Terence Donovan. They've all been hidden away. So when you're doing histories of venues, it's always interesting about the timeline, but it's also how do you do a timeline. We wanted to do something slightly different for the Q Club, so we commissioned Simon Hale to make this brilliant piece of work. It's one of my favourite pieces that just gives a sense of each year, but the bands and the DJs who played there, and you can get a sense of how it changed from a live music venue in '93, although Pete Tong's up there, into really what I suppose was the real great years of the Q Club, you know, 95, 6, 7, 98. And then you've got a little break, and then Billy comes back in, Billy Chohan with his team, and hopefully I'll be able to put this in my own house once the exhibition's finished. Or we might do some t-shirts. Simon, if you're watching this, what do you think? And it's surrounded by some great photographs, Henry Ratcliffe's photographs. There's Carl Cox DJing there, and here's the amazing Mistress Mo. So this wall I particularly like, and you can see a little bit of the graffiti that we got at the opening. Asked people, you know, DJs and promoters who attended the opening to come and put some memories of their own about it. And you got the drop beats, not bombs, and a fuck Putin, which is still relevant, of course, and lots of just different types of graffiti that we got. So behind me you should be able to see some photographs taken by the great Terence Donovan, one of the great British photographers, and we uncovered these at Chris House of God's house. They haven't been seen for 30 years. His son Terry was a student at the University of Birmingham, met Chris, they ended up doing raves at the university and then came into the city centre and ended up at the Q Club. Terence came, took these photographs one night, and they were just put into a drawer and forgotten about, but they're absolutely amazing. There's about 60 of them altogether. We've only shown 10 here. The one behind me you can see is the great DJ Surgeon, one of the great techno DJs, with Andy Votel sitting down with him, and with Emma, who has also been in touch and recognised ourselves from the photographs. So I absolutely love these photographs. They're very evocative, and as I say, it's hard to imagine that Terry Donovan, who photographed Jimi Hendrix and Princess Diana and was the photographer of Vogue, came up to the Q Club in '95 and took these incredible photographs. And stood in front of a wall with lots of text. You won't be able to read it all, but it's from a guy called Spotter. And when you read it, I've watched countless people stand and read it, even if you didn't know about the Q Club or what it was or what it represented, you get a sense of what it must have been like to be in this amazing cavernous hall with the music pumping, with if there's drugs or alcohol or whatever it was you take, and just the pure enjoyment of the music. It gives a real great sense of that, and I absolutely love this. Although this club is really regarded for its rave and dance culture, it actually started its life in '92 as a live music venue. It started by Rod Stewart's manager called Billy Gaff, and in '97 David Bowie also played, and almost as close to the crowd as we're doing this filming, so really up close and personal. No barriers, no security staff, and of course we didn't have any mobile phones or sort of video cameras in those days, so Neil used a disposable. And there's one of my favourite exhibits in the whole exhibition is of a picture of Bowie staring right into the camera, and Neil's taking his picture, but he's got his thumb over the flash, and of course he wouldn't have known until he went and got it developed. I want to say thank you to everyone who's donated such precious materials and allowed us to exhibit them and give it a lot of pleasure to a lot of people.